In keeping with what every show would do around that time of year, we have a Christmas episode. Funny thing, we never saw the sisters do a Hanukkah episode. Very odd.
We have a Christmas tradition at Convent Santanco. We draw names and make gifts for each other.
Do they really think they invented the idea of a gift exchange? People have been forced to do that sort of thing for as long as office parties have existed.
The yank bag. Grab bag. You're first, sister. Don't peek. I grab myself. Oh, I better try again. Hey, maybe I better keep myself. How come? I know what I want.
She makes a valid point. These things always made me uncomfortable. One of the weirdest things I ever saw was a Christmas gift exchange at a business where 2/3 of the people from the boss on down were Jewish. I often wondered why, rather than force the Jewish folks to conform to Christmas traditions, they didn't force the rest of us to conform to Jewish tradition. Seems fair to me.
Sister Olaf had come to us only recently. She had served in Puerto Rico for many years and had hoped to return to her native Norway for Christmas. But the doctors felt that Sister Olaf no longer had the strength for the trip.
Let's speak plainly. Sister Olaf knows what's happening, and her fondest wish is to go home and die there. But it's not going to happen, and she knows it. Nevertheless, she wants to take part in the gift exchange. Sister Olaf is played by veteran character actor Celia Lovsky. She was born in Vienna when it was still the capital of Austria-Hungary. She got her training at the Academy in Vienna and was a rising star in both Vienna and Berlin. In Berlin, she met future husband Peter Lorre, and when the Nazis came to power, the two of them fled the country since Lorre was Jewish. The marriage didn't last that long, though they remained friends for the rest of his life. She wound up in Hollywood and established herself as the perfect person to play anyone with an accent. Star Trek fans might know her from one of the most famous episodes of the original series, Amok Time. Spock finds himself going into Pon farr and has to return to Vulcan and his mate. On Vulcan, we meet the supreme ruler, T'Pau. That's her in the bed. She made enough of an impression in that one episode that every Trekkie remembers her. But by the time she did that role in this one, she was in such demand that one-shot guest appearances were about all she had time for. Thing is, in Star Trek, you took it for granted that she was the most powerful person on the planet. And here you take it for granted that she's a frail, dying nun. She did both roles in the same year, 1967. That's how good she was.
What would you like for Christmas, Sister Olaf?
The impossible. A white Christmas.
Snow, Sister Olaf?
Puerto Rico is beautiful, but sunshine and palm trees do not make Christmas.
She's from Norway, so that makes sense. Then again, Sister Bertrille is from snow country, so she understands.
Maybe next year.
They all know she figures she'll be spending next Christmas in the arms of Jesus. So if this is going to happen, it has to happen now. And guess who just drew Sister Olaf's name?
I got Sister Olaf's name.
Oh, you were meant to keep it a secret.
Well, I couldn't anyway. I need your help, both of you. I want to make it snow for Sister Olaf.
Snow in San Juan? Sister, it never snows in San Juan.
Have you ever had a flying nun here before?
Now, Sister Bertrille, the fact that you can defy one of nature's laws should not be taken as a challenge to try them all.
Okay, anybody who has any kind of background in science, I'm going to warn you ahead of time to brace yourselves, because this is going to get a little out there. To get snow, the ambient temperature has to be at, or at least very close to freezing, 32 Fahrenheit or 0 Celsius, depending on where you live. As we can see, in San Juan in the dead of winter in 1967, the thermometer dipped to a frigid, penetrating cold 60 degrees for a few days. Not snow temperatures, but she wants to figure out a way anyway. Of course, Sister Jacqueline and Sister Sisto will help her. They have no idea how or what to do, but they're in. If anybody knows how to make this happen, it'll be the guy from the Weather Bureau.
Snow in San Juan? Sister, I have been stationed here 10 years, and those needles have never moved. It's always sunny. It's always 80 degrees. It's always clear skies followed by tourists.
These weather people have all kinds of symbols they put on their maps to indicate fronts and pressure cells and all that. I wonder what the symbol for tourist is.
My job is so predictable, my pep pills need pep pills.
Books, dude. Books are your friends. They make perfect companions when you're stuck in something like this. Basically, you could be getting paid to expand your brain rather than getting paid to let it atrophy.
Actually, I was just curious, kind of a research project. Has anyone ever made it snow artificially?
Oh, there have been experiments, but they're very elaborate.
How elaborate?
It involves seeding the clouds with pellets of dry ice.
At least he got that part right. If you were around for It's About Time, you might remember they had to come up with some elaborate chemical to seed clouds, but the fact is, plain old dry ice always works best. Sister Bertrille knows where she can get a bunch of it, and she can do the cloud seeding herself.
Now get this. First thing.
Carlos?
And these two.
Carlos.
Sister, I'm a very busy man.
He's a very busy man, and it appears she never learned the fine art of waiting her turn.
What is it this time? A foul-mouthed parrot that I have to give a home to? Or you fix me up again with that gangster's girlfriend?
No, I wanted to borrow something.
What?
Some dry ice.
Why didn't you say so?
Well, I need quite a bit.
You take as much as you like.
Just be sure you bring it back in the same condition you took it, right? How do you borrow ice? But now she has all she needs. The sisters are helping her pulverize it into tiny pellets, and so far they've been able to keep the whole thing from Reverend Mother. So far.
Who is it?
What is going on, sisters? Is something burning?
Time to stash everything away and pretend to look innocent.
Why is this door locked?
Was it?
It's a good thing they're not acting suspicious, especially when she wants to sit down and they won't let her.
Well, I sense that I am intruding, sisters. But if I could just sit for a moment.
I got here first.
And you don't know what a favor she's doing you by getting there first.
Good night, sisters.
Good night, Mother.
Coming soon to a store near you, Convent Santanco's new line of frozen buns.
The day before Christmas, the flying weather was excellent. The trade winds quickly took Sister Bertrille into the clouds.
Isn't it convenient that for once there are clouds? Sister Olaf got her wish. It's snowing in the convent. That was the goal, to make just enough snow to fulfill her Christmas wish.
I can't believe my eyes.
It's sort of like a belt from the blue, huh?
Before anyone starts yelling at the screen, I know. Even assuming cloud seeding worked in this instance, it would produce rain, not snow. I know. All cloud seeding does is help make the moisture in the clouds heavy enough to fall to the ground. I know. It has no effect on the form the water takes. That depends on the outside temperature. I know. But Sister Bertrille doesn't know all that, so it's working for her. In fact, it's working a little too well. snowing all over the city, indeed all over the island, but the city is getting the worst of it. Thing is, all those tourists around the pool came here to get away from weather like this, so they're all giving up and going home.
The hotels are emptying, and there are mobs at the airport.
Without the tourists, half the city will end up flat-chested.
My guess would be that you mean flat-busted.
Some of Sister Sisto's gaffes feel a little forced, but that one was imaginative and well done. The upshot is Sister Bertrille just single-handedly destroyed Puerto Rico's economy.
And I'm afraid you're absolutely right. Sister Bertrille, I know you meant well, but it is not going to be a very Merry Christmas in San Juan.
Let's talk about the little things that make an actor great. We have a couple of examples right here. Madeline Sherwood delivered that line with just the right amount of acid and softness. Her tone backs up the fact that she knows the goal was good, but the result was a disaster. I don't know how many years of practice it takes to be able to do that. And Sally Field's expression says Sister Bertrille is shattered. The one thing she wants more than anything in the world is to help people and make them happy. The fact that she's done this to her entire adopted city is cutting her clear to the bone. Both actors did their job so well, you forget they're acting. By this time, we're well into the story, and we can feel everyone's pain. Give these two the lion's share of the credit for making it all so believable.
You asked for me, Sister Olaf?
It was so beautiful. I wanted to thank you.
They told you.
Yes. And now I hear that you are in trouble.
Oh, I'll survive. I'm not sure San Juan will.
That is sad. You were only trying to make my wish come true.
And she succeeded. She did something wonderful for a dying woman who spent her life serving others. Honestly, hearing the joy in Sister Olaf's voice, I'd say even with all the trouble it caused, it was worth it.
I just wish I could think of a way to get the tourists back. Of course, if I did, I'd probably foul up something else. I seem to be a one-woman plague of locusts.
That is not true.
Yes, it is. The Reverend Mother's right. It's time I grounded myself.
Even the happiest, bubbliest person on earth gets depressed now and then, and it's easy to forget that Sister Bertrille is actually as human as the rest of us.
Sister, you have a great gift. Not to use it would be a sin.
Flying?
No. Making people happy.
It's what she does. She makes people better than they were before they met her. In Sister Olaf's case, she spent her life doing for others. It's a big deal when someone does for her, and especially something so amazing. That really is a gift, and Sister Bertrille lost sight of it for a moment. Speaking of losing sight of things...
Just a moment. Now, we are not pleading. We are not begging, we are demanding an explanation.
It happened, that's all.
The economy of our country is having convulsions, and the only explanation we get is, it happened.
Senor Ramirez, may I remind you, I don't do anything about the weather, I just talk about it.
I think they forget that a weatherman doesn't really do anything except look at charts and see what's happening.
Well, at least that little nun must be happy.
What nun?
No one said...
What nun?
A nun. She came to the tower the other day.
What does she look like? Young?
Yeah?
Moonface?
Kind of.
Freckles?
Senor Ramirez, she came to talk about snow, not a complexion.
Carlos might have guessed that Sister Bertrille was behind this. He has no idea how, but yeah, she did it.
Honestly, I know my good intentions backfired, but you don't have to act like it's the end of the world for you.
Me? But it's not myself I'm thinking about. Or the other hotel owners. We can handle a setback like this. It is the little people. The tourist guides. The street vendors. And the taxi drivers. The flower lady.
And to be perfectly frank, before Sister Bertrille, Carlos wouldn't have given those people a second thought. This is what she's done to him. She's forced him to look outside himself and realize that lots of other people matter too.
That's why I want you to...
Carlos, you're right. We've got to do something for those people.
Me? We? No, sister. The only thing I want from you is to stay on the ground.
But Carlos, that won't help those little people now.
She wants Carlos and his buddies to get a bunch of cash together so she can distribute it over the city.
Why is it every time I try to pin your ears back, you end up cracking my spine?
He can't help himself. He likes her. He knows she makes him a better person. And no matter what kind of crazy scheme she gets him tangled up in, that smile covers a multitude of goofs. We've watched Carlos grow a lot already, and there's more to come. Reverend Mother doesn't think handouts are a good idea. Most of those people have a certain amount of pride. Sister Bertrille says, suppose the money just fell from the sky.
Ah, me. Sister Bertrille, when are you going to accept the fact that a nun is meant to do our Lord's work on earth? Heaven is his territory.
He doesn't seem to think so, since he gave her the ability to come up and see his territory.
I know my feet should stay firm on the ground, but sometimes I can't seem to keep them down. When the wind starts blowing, that's the time I know I've just got to pick right up and go.
We haven't had a song for several episodes, so it's about time. And this is a nice one.
All of a sudden I look way up high. Next thing I know, I'm just up in the sky, and I'm flying, flying so high, touching the sky.
This song is essentially the same on the album, except on the album her voice is doubled again.
I know my feet should stay firm on the ground.
As you can hear, she wasn't very good at doubling herself and keeping her cadence exactly the same. Frankly, whoever came up with the idea of doubling her voice should have been kicked in the whatchamacallits right before he thought of it. She sounds much better solo. The weird part is, parts of the song are doubled here and parts aren't. So nobody seemed to be in charge of how this was done, which just makes the whole music and album thing that much more of a clusterfuck. I already talked about the fact that Sally Field did not want to sing but got the whole thing shoved on her and all the rest. Seriously, the way this show treated her makes me want to go get in somebody's face, but none of the faces are left to get into. That's how it goes when you learn some things 50 years too late.
Places I love, there's always one thing I'm certain of. It's a beautiful world, and I'm glad to be in it. When I'm up there, I just love it.
The tourists are ready to change their minds and stay, since some of the money's falling on them too. Carlos is beyond delighted. It looks like Sister Bertrille saved the day after all.
Oh, my friends, come in, come in. You've come to celebrate our good fortune.
That's right. And to get our money back.
Money? What money?
The $5,000 that we gave you to distribute.
It is gone.
Gone?
Yeah, given away.
Hold on. They gave this money to be distributed to the people, but now they want it back? I think it's time for a vocabulary lesson. Give. 1, to present voluntarily and without expecting compensation. 2, to hand to someone. 3, to place in someone's care. So according to the most basic definition, when you give something, it's not yours anymore. It belongs to the recipient, and they can do as they please with it without consulting you. I thought so. Hey guys, there's something here you should look at.
It was not done in the usual way.
Oh, then how?
You will not believe it.
Hey, tell them. She'll back you up. They won't believe either one of you, but it might be worth a try.
Carlos, you wouldn't try to cheat your friends.
On Christmas Eve.
In front of a nun?
Goodness. Carlos, remember, it's going to be the wildest New Year San Juan ever had.
Have you ever seen $5,000 in cash? Neither have I, but Carlos seems to carry that much in his wallet. If he makes a habit of that, I have 2 words for him that might prove useful: bodyguard. It was common practice in these Christmas episodes to have the cast sing at least one Christmas carol, and they were usually as terrible as this is. This is an example of how to take a happy song and make it slow and dreary.
Why aren't you singing?
Do I have anything to sing about? I am the biggest philanthropist in San Juan, and you are the only one who knows.
Carlos, isn't it more gratifying to know in your heart what you've done than to be the biggest hero of the whole city?
No.
Well, you could go to the newspaper and tell them the whole story. That should get you some attention.
Carlos, look. She hasn't been downstairs in months.
Wasn't it all worth it?
Oh, boy, was it.
She's out of bed, she's dressed, she's downstairs. A little bit of Christmas magic for Sister Bertrille, considering all she's done for so many others.
Merry Christmas, Sister Olaf.
Merry Christmas, sister.
And thank you,
Why do you thank me?
because you've just given me the nicest Christmas present I've ever had.
Merry Christmas.
Sister Olaf didn't like the music, though. She put in her own request. If you enjoyed this, please click the like button to let me and YouTube know you want to see more. If you're not subscribed yet, punch me in the mask here and get signed up so you don't miss a thing, because something is always happening here at Irving Zoo. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you later. Not snow you by getting there first. Even assuming cloud seeding worked in this instance, she did something wonderful for a... I can say wonderful. It was common practice in these Christmas episodes. A little bit of Christmas magic for Sister Bertrille, considering